Good evening, everyone. This is Gil at Camppatton Family Compound. It is time for Friday night on the Homestead. And tonight's topic is one that hopefully you'll find useful. Investing in your homestead, where to start. And come up here. And I got Corky from Wide Family Farm. She's putting Fred to bed right now, so that's her son. So she'll be joining us here in a couple minutes. Fred was being very rambunctious before we started the live stream. All right. Okay, let's see. Who's all here? Wow, got 53 comments up here. First one in, I get to the top. There we go, was Crew 1351, followed by another CR, Creative Redundancy. Then we had Howie, Food Forest Permaculture came in. And Howie and CR were talking a bunch. Let's see, talking all sunflowers and green juice and stuff. And oh, Kaylin's in the house. And let's see, talking about preparedness and stuff here. They were talking in the side chat. Oh, let's see what we got here. Shady Hill Homestead came in. Prepper Girl is in here. And those are the ones that are chatting. We got a few more lurking, so lurking is fine. Oh, Little and Prepper just came in. And here's Corky, or as I still default to Courtney. I still feel for so many years it was always Courtney, and when you started going by Corky, then it's like it feels so odd changing it up.
Oh yeah, you could say whatever. I mean, Corky, Courtney, whatever. I'm not set on anything, so we're good.
Just don't call you late for dinner, right?
Yep, that's true. I was trying to see if I could get on my computer on here, but I don't think that's happening. So. And everything's super small. So, and I'm getting old and I can't read anything. Oh, there's the chat. Hi, chat.
Yeah, next time I'll try to get you the link earlier so you can get your computer working.
Yeah, I don't know. I tried to get on it last night and it's just not. It's not being nice to me.
Yeah. CRS calls her Mrs. Green Thumb. Yeah. Well, tonight's topic is, investing in your homestead. And I'm going to shift this around and bring up the first slide I got in there. And some of the things, where to start, so do you start with a garden? Actually, before this list here, you start with a piece of property. And, how big that property is and how much you got to spend on it also dictates what you can do on it and how long it's going to take.
Yeah.
And so, but once you have your properties, the first thing you do you put in a garden? Do you start building, a little shed, a barn, whatever, something to put, stuff in besides the house? You start doing livestock, or do you work on infrastructure?
Yeah.
And when I bought the property across the street, the 5 acres over there back in 2016, the first year, my wife and I, we bought it just before Thanksgiving. My daughter and her husband and their, hang on, let me check dates here. And their 2 boys, the one being a month old, moved in. And that way, because we didn't, they were still going to Rexburg. Here, you're coming in here for my support.
Hold on.
Yeah. Okay. And let's see this one here. I think she's trying to come over on the other one here. anyways, when I first bought the property there we go.
I'm really bright. Whoa, I'm not anymore. Okay. I don't know. Okay.
You're looking good from my end. And Geeky Gardens just came in.
Hello.
So when I bought the property over there, the first year, the first 6 months, my daughter was in there, and my wife came up once to help my daughter get moved in, settled in, and I didn't come up to work on anything until May or June. It's almost 9 months. And that's when I really discovered how much work that property needed, because the guy that had owned it before, in some of my old videos, I really pulled no punches talking about him. I mean, he had the irrigation canal ditch. The little ditch went through his property, and he had 11 irrigation gates on it, way more than he was supposed to.
Yeah.
And he had all these weird lines going across the field out there, little mounds, to direct the water flow to certain areas, and trying to make sure everything got totally saturated with water. And anyway, so and it really wasn't working out because he did most of the stuff by hand. And so we went and bought a tractor, and but the ground out there was so packed and hard from years and stuff, and alfalfa roots growing through it. I mean, it was like, clay from the California missions. They're still standing. It's the lines were swell. Basically, they were mounds that were where he'd shoveled up to control where the water was flowing. So he'd have a line here, 15 feet over. He'd have another little mound going out there, and then he'd have one cutting across this. It was really weird. But the little tractor we got wouldn't touch it. If I turned around and used the backhoe portion, I could dig at it. So I wound up renting a D5 dozer for 3 days, smoothed it up, fixed it, made it look really nice, and started doing some work on it. But the one thing that I realized that there is no real set thing, because everybody's property is different from when they get it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yours used to be your grandmother's or your mom's? Your mom's, right?
Well, it was my grandparents' house.
Your grandparents' house.
I lived to my mom, so.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. So it had some things done on it already because it was rural Ohio, and this is rural Idaho. But the guy that had owned the property before was made Scrooge McDuck look like a giveaway billionaire. This guy was so tight, and when he opened his wallet, the creaking sound could be heard for 3 counties. But yeah.
Well, I would say that all of this kind of depends. I mean, you could really call any house your homestead, I guess you would say. It all depends on where you live. I know where I lived at before. I lived in a not so great neighborhood for about 10 years, and I bought a really cheap house, and there are certain things, like I knew I wasn't going to live there forever. So when you first buy your house or whatever, those are things that you have to really take into consideration. Is that going to be your only house? Are you planning on moving? Are you planning on buying a farm, buying a homestead? Those are all questions that you have to ask yourself when you're buying your first house. Is that going to be your forever? And now with the economy and things the way they are, A lot of young kids can't even afford to buy their first house. But I was lucky enough that the economy collapsed and I had wonderful credit that I could buy my very first house for super cheap. So, those are things that you have to think about when you're buying a house. And, I thought, oh, I'll live here, and it got to be like 10 years. It was 10 years on the mark where I was like tired of not like having a garden and tired of not being able to grow my own stuff and
Yeah.
tired of living so close to my freaking neighbors. Like,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So when we bought this house, those are things that I was prepared for. Those are things like, especially with like, you got to think about your apple trees, your pear trees, things like that, blueberry bushes. All of that takes 5 to 7 years to get established and to get that kind of thing. And so those are things that you have to think about when you buy your first homestead. Is that where you want it to be? So, those things you really have to think about. And you got to think also your age factor. I know a lot of people who buy a house. I mean, I have people just literally across the street. They bought a huge 5-acre house with a huge pond in the front and stuff like that. And they have garden and they have a lot of property. And those are things that you really have to think about when you're getting older. Do you want to keep up on that? Do you want to do all that when you're 85?
Yeah.
Those are all things that you have to really consider when you are buying a homestead. But for real, like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to us because we are in a great area and nobody bothers us. And, and yeah, you got to be able to maintain your house. If you can't, those are issues. And a lot of people, especially young people, don't look into the future.
Yeah.
And they don't see themselves getting old. They don't see themselves having hip problems or knee problems or, all those things that come
problems.
Back problems. And so can you, homesteading is fun and it's great, but can you keep up with it? And, so.
That's one of the things. So my first house I bought down in Martinez in California, when it was still California before it became California. I got most of the lots in that area, even though it was semi-rural, were quarter-acre lots, and this lot was a third-acre. And so there was a whole long story behind that. But so I bought that, and I would say, trying to remember dates here. So I bought it in like June, and then I was renting 2 of the rooms out as share rentals, and the second person to rent the second room turned out to be the staff sergeant. And I was, when she came with her boyfriend. It's like, I don't care, I was just looking for someone who could do it. And I'm in the army. Da, 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 da. Okay, I knew I had some reliable funding there, and I rented the room to her. Didn't realize that within a month we'd be engaged. She was looking for a place to get away from her boyfriend, who wasn't a good one. So she was staying with her grandmother. But she, came in there and she saw me as okay, this guy's, because I was at the time I was wearing. She thought I worked for the Forest Service because I was wearing the khaki shirts and stuff, but that I had when I worked at the sheriff's department. But they had the patches taken off, and her boyfriend didn't like me at all. And she goes, "Well, that's 4 points for him."
That's funny.
Anyways, in 13, thanks to Governor Moonbeam and his what is it, the deputy governor, whatever they call it, in there, was nuisance, and they started working the legislature to pass all sorts of legislation, which was very impactful on retirees. And my wife goes, "We cannot afford to retire in California, not with all this crap." So we started looking around, and the place across the street here, the 5 acres across the street, we've been up here several times trying to get several different houses and looked at them. The one that was really good that we were going to put an offer on, and our real estate told him, "Hey, he's coming up here. He's got a lot of money. Don't drop it on, wait until before you accept anything. He's going to be looking at it." So I'm over there looking at it with her. She calls the guy. "Oh, we just signed." The guy went for 10,000 less than we were asking. And my wife and I were ready to go 10,000 over what they were asking.
Oh.
And it's like, okay. Then turned around. Why? No one was up here but our real estate agent. She saw the house there, been putting up the for sale sign. She stopped, got out, let her talk to him, walked to the house real quick with him and said, "I got a buyer." She called my wife and said, "Hey, I just bought a house for your 5 acres, blah, 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 blah. Here are photos." Sent her a bunch of photos. 2 weeks later, the next week, Chris was up here for the weekend looking at it, and had the real estate had the inspector here, went through everything. Yeah, okay, yes, we'll buy it. We put in. Rebel Canners is lurking.
Hello, Rebel.
And then as soon as we signed the deal, someone came in and offered 75,000 more, because they were on the same thing. They realized the land is worth more than what the price was. So and so that we just stumbled onto that one. My wife and I, when we got married, we were planning on retiring there in California. Her folks were in Fremont, 45 minutes away. Her grandmother was on the other side of town. We were planning on staying there in Martinez.
Yeah.
But after the laws changed and all the legislation making it impractical for someone to retire there, we came up here.
That's really crappy, because you can't just survive on young people for the economy all the time. They obviously, I don't think know what they're doing there.
So up here, I learned a lot up here. Hang on, let me switch to the next one. Come on, change. There we go. What I learned when we came up here, hang on, let me get some water. I learned a lot of things. There's things you're going to need with 5 acres or larger property. Land work. Yes, the land over there too is going to take a lot of work to rehab it. The guy had been running horses on it, which for 5 acres, for horses out there and stuff, and then flood irrigating it so badly at the high spot, the horses would stand on the high spot and wait for the water to go down, so they could go out and forage. And that is not good for the land. It's not good for the horses, but the horses kind of, because there's not a lot of play room for that many horses. Trees. This is important. Once you have the land work done, like I'd rent the dozer and level stuff off and move stuff around. Once you have the land work done, start planting trees, shade trees as well as fruit trees.
Yeah, because it takes a while. Like I have a tree in my backyard. It's perfect. It's 50 years old, but it's perfect where it is right now. It's dying, but it's perfect where it is right now. And so you have to think about those things. You also have to think about how close it is to your house. Do you want a tree that close to your house? What if a branch fell off and hit your house? Like, you got to think about stuff like that. I don't think a lot of people do. So,
well, a couple of years ago, I had we had a huge group of cottonwood trees along the irrigation ditch in the new property we bought across the street where I'm at right now. It's only a single acre, but these were huge, 100-foot tall cottonwoods, and we were noticing dead branches within them. So, and then I went out and did some measuring. Okay, compass me. Okay, that's that tall. Okay, if one of those trees comes down, it's going to land on the shop and take the shop out. And small branches, comparatively by size, that big around, had come down. So we decided, okay, we need to take those down. Took them all down. We got from it sitting out there. We got like 20 cords of firewood sitting out there now. And and then we on this property, over there on the other one, we planted a bunch of. Before I retired, we planted a bunch of fruit trees out there, and had all marked out for all the fruit trees we were going to plant. Well, because I was still working, I hadn't retired yet. I was just coming up, burning up all the my leave I had built up since 2001, and I was finally going through it. I wasn't here all the time, and my son-in-law, who will take care of watering everything, no, he didn't, and most of the trees died. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, it wasn't that hard. I bought a hose, took it out, just walk out there and water a little bit.
And then that was your time too. Like, I would have been so furious.
I was. So was my wife, because she was looking at the money we paid for those trees. Over here, when we bought this property over here, the way it's sitting off just a little bit offset, a little bit farther to the west, a little bit, and everything. The wind coming through here is like, we need to put some wind block trees. And she was up here one time, so we bought this in 2021. She goes, yeah, we need to put some trees up here. A bunch of shade trees and stuff. We'll put the fruit trees in the back and stuff. But I wound up getting 6 blue spruce trees from Costco when they were on sale in the spring. Planted those out front, and then we got some Lombardy poplars, and we got 15 of those and put those in, and those are finally taking off. The first couple of years they were grown, and all of a sudden their tap roots got down to the water down deep, and they started taking off. But yeah, it takes years for trees to grow. The fruit trees I put in for my orchard, I got lucky. They were on sale in 15-gallon pots, not the 1 gallon, not the 2 gallon, not the 15-gallon ones, and they had fruit on them already. So I planted them. I stripped most of the fruit off. I left one peach and 1 apricot on those trees, and and just got So I planted 2 apricots, 2 peaches, 2 pears, 2 cherries, and 2 apples, all properly zone rated for. We're 5A, 5B. It depends which year they say we are, but I got ones that are rated for zone 4. Happy Mac's here.
Hey, Happy Mac.
On your side.
Yeah, I saw Happy Mac last night too on my live. It was interesting because I had issues with my computer, and I went live vertically from my phone. And when you do that, you send like the bat signal to all the trolls. And
yeah.
And so it was a very interesting live stream last night.
Yeah, I missed it. I had this council meeting last night. But so the trees I got, last summer, well, so in late summer 24, I planted it. 25, those trees were the apricot and peach were loaded with fruit. The pears had a bunch of fruit on it. This year, they were loaded with blossoms. I pruned them and everything, loaded with blossoms and everything. And then we got a hard freeze and high winds. And so I got right now. So we got about 20 cherries and about 4 apples, and that's it out of all of them. But then, like I said, this is the second year they're old.
Sorry.
They're only 2 years in the ground.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, everybody was hitting those trolls. So.
Troll Slayer, yeah.
Thank you.
It's whack-a-troll. Anyways, yeah. So we've gotten stuff earlier than what we figured we would. But yeah, so trees, yeah, plant them as soon as you can. Buildings. We have the huge shop here. We got the grain silo that the guy I bought this place from, Brandon, was using for his part of his pig pen, and so for their winter shelter and stuff. And I still haven't done anything with it. I got plans for it. My wife and I have plans for it, but we're waiting until she comes up before we turn it into a chicken coop. But my daughter, there was a piece of crap little wooden shed over there full of wasp nests. So we tore that down. They went and bought a Sam's Club, one of those big Rubbermaid sheds with the double wide door on the front and everything. This winter, the winds were so high and they'd taken everything out of it. And
yeah. Yikes.
Yeah. So, buildings, you got to figure what.
Was it salvageable at all, or did it just,
It folded and bent and everything? The buildings is something you got to really think about. From the very beginning. You
have way too many outbuildings like we do.
Yeah. When you buy a property, you got to figure out, all right, what outbuildings do we need? And so
I am grateful because, the people that had this place before us had it for about 7 years before they decided to sell it to us. And they had built a huge barn. So our barn is basically brand new. The only issue I have is that it's not concreted floor.
Yeah.
I really wish it was, but I get it. They had horses and they didn't, but that would have been amazing. But yeah, your outbuildings. And then, if you acquire a husband who collects stuff, outbuildings are necessary.
When we were growing up, the first house I remember was the house we had that my parents first bought in Martinez back in 1960 when I was 3 years old. That barn had, and the one part that was the shop part of it had gravel floor. Everything else was dirt floor. So I know about working on dirt floors and stuff. So buildings is something when you first buy the property, that's one of the things you got to, get out a notebook and start writing stuff down.
Yeah.
Don't just think about it. Oh, I'll remember that. No, write it down so you can make, adjustments of what you need to do. More water. Unless you have a pond on your property that's filled by a spring, you can just about count on needing more water once you start putting in gardens and livestock. So, think about adding more water.
Yeah, and like where I live in Ohio here, I never have to worry about that, specifically my road. It is just everybody has a pond on my road, and it's just naturally wet.
Yeah.
And then I have a well, but that's another thing you have to worry about too. I honestly would never, unless it was like a regional thing and you didn't have a choice, I would never buy a house that had a cistern. Never. I would make sure I had a well. But there are some states that it's astronomical to build a well. Like I'm like where Doug and Stacy and stuff live. Like they don't have a well. It would be astronomical to have a well there.
Yeah.
But where I'm at, it's 100 feet down, and we were able to access that. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the ones up in northern Idaho. Shoot, I brain fart lost it. Their one son was in the military when they bought the property and everything. They were hauling. They had several IBC totes. They would go to town, fill up with water for free, come out and fill those up, and then they got a bigger tank and buried it and filled that up. And they were saving money up so they could get a well done. They got the well done. Water was coming out. It wasn't coming out quite as fast as they wanted, but they did calculation. They go, okay, at nighttime, we're not using water. That will be filling up the tank. And it turned out the water flow increased.
Yeah.
A bit for them. So yeah, so they're doing okay now.
Yeah, water is so important. Like it's more important than ever. Like, so you have to really think about that too. Do you want to constantly be filling up your cistern? Do you want to constantly be calling the water truck to come out or constantly going in town, or constantly having to have, those are just things that you have to think about when you have a homestead, if that's something that you want to do. And, if you live in a region that doesn't have that, you don't really have a choice in that matter. But yeah, having a well is really important. And
well, fortunately, one of the things that really sold us on the property, the first time we came up looking at houses, the original real estate agent that my wife had been talking with, we told her, all right, 6 months ahead of time, we'll be up here, on this time to go look at houses. Well, she was such a space cadet, she decided she was going to plan her vacation during that time. So we get up here, she's not here. The first place we went to was actually here in Basalt on the other side of town. We were looking at it, and the real estate agent for that one, really nice. She goes, wow, well, tell you what, I got nothing. I got nothing. I have to be at the rest of the day. I'll go around with you. And she became our real estate agent. She's the one that found the house across the street. Nice. So, and so we, having a good real estate agent is good. But see, both houses have irrigation ditch water going through it. So we have water rights 2 days a week for flood irrigation or pumping, whichever we want to do. And so, but right now the city here, the city here does not, they charge a flat rate for water. That's it. No metering, no nothing. However, the state of Idaho says now everyone has to be metered by 2029 or something like that.
Oh.
So they're getting meters. They're going to get ready to buy meters to everyone has meters. They never used them. They never did anything with them, and they're outdated. Getting the new modern ones that are just guy drives by in the truck and it's bleep, 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 and he has all the information. And so that'll be in 2 years. But they're also talking about telling everybody that, hey, when they say, if you have irrigation rights, you best be using your irrigation rights, because running your sprinklers for 24 hours every other day runs up the cost of the city's water, because it's electric pumps. We have well water here. We got 3 wells that feed the city. One is the backup well, and that one has the monster pump on it to supercharge the lines whenever if there's a fire to make sure the fire hydrants all have plenty of water.
Yeah, California knows a little bit about those mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we're going to be doing so. Like this year, I hooked up. Well, last year I hooked up 3 IBC totes to catch water from the gutters. I added 11 more IBC totes this year.
Wow. So how is the water? How is the water in your area? Is the water that comes from rain and stuff? Is that good water?
From rain and stuff, yeah. You just at the first rain, you gotta toss a bunch of it as it cleans all the bird poop off the roof. But for gardening, even the bird poop water is good for the garden.
Yeah. I was gonna say if you're not drinking it, it's not that big of a deal. But
yeah, and so that's one of the things. So for more water is I'm getting ready to have to pull irrigation water to water the property here and the property across the street. My son-in-law is finally go, okay, we're going to need to do this. He's like, all right, we're going to, in a couple of years, we're going to have to be doing for watering the yard and everything else. We're probably going to be wanting to use, the ditch water. What all do we need to do? So I'm working with them so he can set money aside to buy solar panels and a 12-volt pump to pump water out to do the watering the garden and stuff. That way there's no electric bill for it.
Does he actually work the garden and stuff?
Oh, yeah, he works the garden. He putters in it all the time.
Okay, because if he didn't, I would not help him. I wouldn't lift my finger for him.
The stuff they had planted in the far back corner, every now and then he goes out there and works with it, and he runs a garden hose out to their berries and stuff they have out there. They're still barely surviving, but around the house, he's increased a lot of garden area around the house, so he doesn't have to walk very far.
Okay.
Anyways, so yeah, more water is something to consider. Garden. How soon are you going to put in a garden? How big of a garden? What are you going to plant in that garden? What grows well in the area you're at? Are you zone 4? Are you zone 7? Are you, what is your are you zone 11 like Geeky Gardens down in Florida? What is your?
That's another thing that's so weird for me is like you guys, you have a really like high garden zone. Like you're in 4, right?
I'm in, and actually we're between 5A and 5B.
Okay.
So which side of the highway you look at?
Root crops and cabbage and stuff like that would be great.
Yeah.
However, in the summertime, you guys are so freaking hot. You would burn all that out. Like I'd be so lost.
Right. The farmers around here rotate their crops, the big farmers.
Yeah.
Alfalfa. Just lost potatoes. Idaho potatoes and sugar beets.
Okay.
And they rotate them, a different one each year. And the sugar beets and potatoes do just fine. Of course, they have the big walking arms of spray, on wheels that goes back and forth.
Yeah.
And everybody irrigates. Right now, I enlarged the front garden. I got to get videos posted for you guys on the stuff I've been doing around here. I just been so busy. I almost tripled the size of the garden in the front yard with wood chips, and I bought several truckloads of compost loaded with cow manure. And so I was rototilling it all in. Well, there were some remains of sunflowers, and I got a bunch of sunflower volunteers. I got a bunch of sweet pie pumpkins coming up everywhere, and I got a bunch of yellow zucchini coming up.
Those pie pumpkins or whatever, those are like my first successful pumpkin.
Yeah.
I love them, and they're cute.
Yep. And so, Yeah, so that's one of the things is, but I'm also got the sprinkler system watering it 15 minutes about 4 o'clock in the morning, and then at 6 in the evening, 15 minutes on for this line and 15 minutes for this line. So watering. And so, yeah, it's doing great. So the sunflowers are doing great. The pumpkins we're getting big. However, the ones on the ground, my daughter's chickens have been coming over and rotor-tilling everything for me.
Nice.
Yeah, scratching and stuff. They spotted the pumpkins inside the vines.
Do you guys live on a dead-end road or?
No.
Busy traffic, or is just south?
It's not that much traffic. But the whole town is only a quarter-mile square.
Oh. I didn't know that. Okay.
And so, but the chickens come across the street. They wander across, 5 o'clock in the morning, the lights coming up. Here comes the chickens.
I love watching them. They're so goofy. Ducks and chickens are so funny.
Yeah. And so her buff Orringtons are coming over here and rotor-tilling everything. And they spotted the pumpkins. Oh. And I went out there looking at one of the pumpkins, and it looks like someone had cut it off. Right, back at the thing, because you see part of the stem sticking out. But it's, wait a minute, those are peck marks in there. There was nothing left.
Oh yeah.
Then all of a sudden, several of the ones that were getting ready to harvest size of the zucchinis disappeared.
Oh no, that's not good. Yeah.
However, as soon as those disappeared, more blossoms came out, and there's a boatload of more zucchini on those plants. Yeah. But I was going to harvest it, give it to my daughter. My daughter was going to give the chickens the seeds anyways. They had so you're gardening, you got, and that's the thing. You never know what's going to happen with a garden.
Yeah.
The cats are hunting her cats come across to here, and they hunt the voles and mice.
Oh.
And then, of course, the hawks are going to come get the voles and mice too that they see in the fields. So you never can tell what a garden is going to bring on. You can't plan for it until you start one. And then you got to realize stuff goes every other year in cycles on different plants and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Especially like your raspberry bushes, your blueberry bushes, even your apple trees. It's like for us, it's like every couple years we'll get a really good crop. Like we'll get that in. So that's something you kind of have to expect. You won't get something great every year, but every couple years for us, it's like an overabundance, which is really great.
You remember, is it Darren Thor Haven Farms?
Mm-hmm.
That one year they had an explosion of green beans.
Oh, nice.
And they canned them all. The next year, their green bean crop.
Well, that's good. Then they could.
They had enough to make them through to the next next season.
Yeah.
So gardening, working on the garden is something you need to start early and quick. Don't go whole hog. Go small and expand. Every year, expand a little bit more.
Yeah. That's
what I've been doing, and it's been working out.
But you know what? We were so ready because where we lived before, we couldn't do anything like that.
Yeah.
So, and we had lived out here. We grew up out here. So it's kind of in our blood to like garden and stuff. So yeah, we started off small, but we immediately expanded because that's just, we want to grow more. We are committed to it. And so.
And you've been doing Grace planter beds.
Yeah. Now, yeah. And that's another thing you got to think about, when you get old. Like, are you going to be able to bend over to pick those weeds? I can't right now. So.
So, I use, when I first started getting the IBC totes, I took and cut some of them in half, turned it upside down, put it on a pallet, and this is going to be great. And even that was still bending over. It's like, all right, I'm 68, going to be 69 here. That's bending over. And so now I'm buying the full size one, just cutting the top out and planting stuff in that.
Yeah.
And for root crops and stuff, that's perfect. For the tomato bushes, those go in the half ones because I do a little bit of pruning and most of the fruit is up higher. So yeah, and that's the thing. You gotta learn, and when you garden, you gotta learn. You gotta take notes. So right here, exactly. So here, I'm not just going to show up very good, but this notes here. This is my watering schedule, my timers for the garden, for the front yard, for the backyard.
Wow.
So I track it so it's impacts us in the house the least as possible. Do as much at night on timers. So this one ends, this one over here starts.
Yeah.
But yeah, the raised planter beds. My mom, when she passed away, was 86, and from the time she was, they put the house in they put her the mobile home that they got was in 78, and my brother and I built raised planter beds, redwood raised planter beds for her.
Wow.
He goes, I'm down in the field, you guys can go plant the squash, the pumpkins, and everything else down there. I'm not bending over anymore.
Yeah, it is, and it's not something I even thought about like 7 years ago. Not a big deal. I was even on my hands and knees picking, and then this last year when I started getting all these aches and pains and whatever, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like,
yeah, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, well, several years back, my wife got several planter beds that are like, those ones you get at kits at Home Depot that are like 3 rows high. She had several of those, and
it's blue.
It's blue.
Blue.
Yeah. And she had those out there, and when needing to get taller planter beds, so our youngest son went and bought rough redwood, really, like 2¼ inch, but and built her a big one. Took the old ones and stacked it on the others to raise the others up for her. So she was happy about that. My wife was, and so at first she was poo-pooing the IBC tote gardens here until I told her, well, this is $50 for this one. Wait a minute, these two were one cut in half, so these are $25 each.
Oh my gosh! She's like, of things has just been astronomical, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, and so she's more. She doesn't like the looks of them, but she likes the fact that it's up and she can we grow and plant stuff in.
Yeah. Well, when we first started, well, I'm sorry, I'm not to go off on tangents, but when we first started gardening, those cattle panel fences and stuff, like that was a big thing. It still is. It's a really great idea for like putting, if you want arches and you want things in your garden, it's really great. The price of them now versus 7 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Insane. I cannot believe how much they cost now. I'm like, I'm not buying that. I would just like, I'll get some rope and put some twigs together before I buy that because they're just so expensive. I mean, I have a bunch of them because I'm lucky enough to have like bought a ton of them when we first started doing it. So, they do last forever, but holy smokes, I just couldn't believe how much they cost now. That is just insane to me.
They are. I bought it. This guy was retiring from his pig farm over in Firth, and he had a bunch for sale. I went over there. I said, I'll take them all. Brought my trailer over there. Made 2 trips out there, just bringing cow panels and T-posts and 55-gallon barrels he had cut in half as watering troughs and slop troughs. I brought it all. He goes, you can take all this. You can have all this rest for free. Just take it. And he just, So I made several trips hauling stuff over.
Nice.
But I still haven't used it all. Equipment. So the first year we bought a tractor. Should have could have, would have. I wish I'd gotten instead of the small frame 24 horsepower. I wish I'd gotten a larger frame 30 or a 40 horsepower tractor. Really, for what I've done around here, I really didn't need to get the backhoe attachment for it. It's cheap enough to go rent a little backhoe around here. Both of us were thinking California rental prices still. It's not that expensive here like it is in California.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, you need to get the right size equipment for you. Mark, is up at his place right now, has the exact same brand, a Coyote. He has the 30 horsepower.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what I wish I had.
I forget our buddy that lives a street over. He bought a tractor, but he bought it from like I can't remember, a rental place or something. I cannot think of the name of the tractor right now, but he can go back to that place and rent all the attachments if he wanted to. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's like really inexpensive. Then he doesn't have to buy all the
doesn't
stuff.
have to buy the rototiller, doesn't have to buy the postal digger, doesn't have to buy, yeah. And that's I've rented from the one place. I rented the Bobcat a mini track loader. The one time I rented it with a post hole digger, and I dug the 15 holes out here. We put the Lombardi poplars in. I rented it with the reversible rototiller on the front, so I can rototill going forward, reverse it as I back up, and it's nice and smooth. And so it rototills both ways. You just reverse whichever the way the tines are going.
Yeah.
I've rented an excavator 5 times now here because the little one on my Coyote just won't get it done, especially when I was trying to put in the 15-inch pipe and it only has a 12-inch bucket.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's better to rent certain equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Other ones, it's better to own certain equipment.
Right.
And if you're gonna, if you want some sort of a tractor that has a front bucket that lifts up and a 3-point in the back, if you got more than 2 acres, go with a 30, 35, or 40 horsepower one, depending on how much work you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise you're just you're just beating the little one to death just trying to get it done. Because the bigger ones, you don't get a 4-foot wide rototiller, you get the 5 or 6 foot wide rototiller behind you, and therefore you make 2 passes instead of 3 passes. But yeah, equipment's something you got to look into and plan on it. At the beginning, budget it right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
As part of the going to be an expense in maintaining the property. A ride-on mower is comes in handy for getting around, keeping the weeds down.
Yes, and sometimes so we have like a John Deere riding lawnmower, and it can take up to 2 hours to mow our property. And then somebody gave us a 0-turn over the summer, and my husband's like, I can mow the lawn in 20 minutes. I'm like,
so you went from a 36-inch wide mower to a 54-inch wide, probably, right?
Yeah, it's amazing, and I'm so grateful that somebody gave that to us because we needed it. And I was like, yeah, okay. Well, my husband had to put a lot of work into the lawnmower. It needed this and needed that, and needed a new battery, and needed new spark plugs, and needed this, that, but for the most part, like, it's really helped. So I weed whack, he mows, and then we're done. Like, we don't have to.
Yeah, I got a Troy-Bilt riding lawnmower from Home Depot. We figured on the sides of it, so we got the 47-inch wide pass. We got a push mower for the tight areas. We got a walk behind Cub Cadet string trimmer with a big massive nylon things on it for doing it. And for the field out there for my coyote, I got a brush hog. So that's fast. Nice. That's 5 foot wide strip. Going along at full speed and low gear. I'm gone.
What are those? I think it is called a brush hog. I'm not sure. Those ones that can just it can just mow down a whole tree.
Okay.
Is that
a brush hog will not do a tree? The other ones are Forest Service mulchers to take down trees up to 6-8 inches.
Yeah, because I would love to have something like that, because we have a whole area of our yard that we can't use because it's just full of trees. Like
that's something to rent, not own, unless you are like Daniel Arms there in Oklahoma, where he has 275 acres.
Oh yeah,
he's got to take out all the cedar trees that are growing constantly there.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Power is something else to consider. The power grid, where your things are going to be. Are you on?
Oh, the power here is getting out of hand, ridiculous because of the data centers. And I want to go solar, not completely solar. I want to be able to use that
hybrid system
back and forth, because it's just nuts.
Yeah.
I cannot believe how much they're charging for power around here.
All right. I'll talk to you afterwards about this. I got a friend that owns portable power solar, and he's been going outside of Idaho. He's been going to Nevada, he's been going to Montana, to Arizona, setting up hybrid systems for people.
Wow.
I want a bobcat for snow. Yeah. All right. Power is something to think about. If you bought the land and there's no power on it, do you pay to put in for the power company to put the lines in to your price, do that, or do you just go off grid to begin with? I just watched a real cool video from a family that they were so far out, it would cost them $70,000 to put the power into their place, because they got 50 acres. So they spent $7,500. They spent $7,500 and put in a system that covers everything they need, but they're going to double it next year.
Nice.
Just because one is done, two is one. So they're gonna double it. So in case they do more, want to do more stuff, more power out to outbuildings and stuff.
I would really like to do like solar, just for like the air conditioner.
Yeah.
So you can have air and it not, I would love to do that. That would be amazing. And this is like really ridiculous. The first 2 months of the summer, we didn't even use air conditioning. We tried to sweat it out, and not have it, and they still charged us for what we, what we would be using if we had air conditioning. They still charged us. And I was like, man, we didn't even run the air conditioner. So my husband's like, forget it. We're just going to run the air conditioner, because they're still charging us the same amount as if we had it. So it's ridiculous.
One of the things that I'm getting set up here. I'm going to pull out one of the or two of the willow trees in the back, because they were here when we got here. They don't offer us any shade unless you're right under it, and they got chopped low, and so they sprout. So you can't get up. It's not a trunk going up and then spreading out. It spreads out from the ground. So and then we're going to use that area to put solar panels in the back and run it to the house, and to run the pumps for the irrigation system. Mm-hmm. Once we're pumping out of the thing. But yeah, power is something to think about, and it's changing, it's evolving. They're coming out with new, better systems that are They now have single standing systems that do 220. If you want to have a well that runs on a 220 pump, you can get a solar power for that.
Yeah.
Power station for that. You can get one that'll power your AC, if you have an electric water heater, electric furnace, whatever. You can get all the stuff for them, and they're a lot cheaper than they were 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next thing here, chickens. We're going to livestock. When do you get chickens? Do you have a proper chicken coop for them? Do you have a protected chicken run for them? You need to have that infrastructure in place before you get chickens.
Oh my gosh. Do you know how many people online buy chickens? I just bought all 90 of these chickens from Tractor Supply. How do I make a coop?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Those people drive me nuts. What do I need to do now? I have all these.
Interesting thing is, what we used for a coop, there was on the side in the lean-to on the side of the garage across the street was a garden shed that they had poured a cement pad for, that they used for their dogs that they had here. And so they insulated it. It's got a big wooden door on the front, said the little sliding metal ones that always jam on you as you're trying to slide them, and they cut a hole in the side for the dogs to go in and out into the cattle run. Well, we disassembled the cattle run. We took that, we pulled it out from that lean-to, put it out in my daughter wanted to put the chickens at. We set the coop up out there. And they put built some roosting poles in there for the chickens. Mm-hmm. That's their coop. A recycled garden shed, metal garden shed. And
and it stays cool in there.
It stays cool in the summertime, and it stays warm in the wintertime. And the only thing is the metal roof on it. They need more. They say they need more insulation from the summer because it gets hot. But it's like, yeah, okay, we can take care of that. A couple sheets of the polyurethane insulation from Home Depot, spray some stuff on it, stick it to the ceiling, and
for sure, yeah, totally.
Yeah, but chickens. I mean, that's why I haven't gotten any chickens yet. My wife and I are planning where she said, you don't get chickens till I'm up there.
Now, when is your wife retiring?
This is a sore subject.
Oh, no.
Not between her and me, between her and her mother.
Oh.
The mother's 80 years old. Her mother refuses to get out of her 2-acre lot and 3-story house, and she can't go to the upstairs at all. She turned the parlor downstairs into the master bedroom. She's fallen in the last year. Actually, since September, she has fallen 3 times. The last time was the worst because she lied at the hospital about how bad she was hurt. Oh, it's not that. I'm just a little sore. The doctor was seeing through it and wanted to put her into a elderly rehab facility for a month, and have the state pay for it and everything. No, I'm not going into one of those places.
Oh boy. So
now my wife had to move down in with her to take care of her, and she's been in there for 2 months now.
I'm so sorry, Gil. Like, are you guys ever going to be together?
Well, or here's the thing. Wow. She was here when it happened. She'd come up. This year she was planning to be here for the last 2 weeks of every month through the summer till the snow came. Because she works remotely, totally, 100%. She has never been in the office ever for the new company she's working for. They came out to the house, set up computers for her, multi-screens, the whole 9 yards. Well, I have multi-screens here. When she comes up here to work, she brings her laptop, that's not a docking hub, but it's a hub. Plug it all in, and she has bigger screens here than she does at home. And, she was here, and she was here for about 3 days when her mom took the spill.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
her mom doesn't want to move in with you guys? Come on. I'm like,
I don't want.
No.
I don't want to impact anybody.
Oh, for God's sakes.
She's impacting the family so bad with making Chris go down there and stay down there. And then Chris
Idaho, California. That's far.
Yeah, they're both 45 minutes from the house. So Chris goes down. Chris has to make a run home to check on her garden, do stuff, play mommy to the older boys, make sure they're doing things right, which is basically, Alex is supposed to be help watering the garden and stuff, but she still goes up there, tweaks stuff and does watering, extra stuff, harvests, fruit and stuff. But that's the thing. Something else you got to plan on for Homestead is somebody getting old.
Yeah.
And anyway, and she's got a reverse mortgage on the place, and she's just burning through money on that. It's like, okay, my wife said another 7-8 years, it may be a wash. It may be when she passes away or sells the place, she's got no money from it because she's burning through so much money on it.
Wow.
But that's another story.
I'm so sorry.
But
this is very important information. So if you all buy Homestead and
you have parents still alive, they're going to be you're going to have to deal with. Yeah. What's supposed to happen is her younger brother Charles and his wife, they have agreed to take both her mom, Angie's mom, and Charles's mom in with them because they're getting a big place with extra bedrooms and stuff.
Let me guess, they don't want to move.
Angie's mom says okay, in a couple of years, I will move in and stuff. Chris's mom is going, I don't want to be a burden on anybody. You're being a friggin' burden on everyone right now. But yeah, my wife called her she's acting like a spoiled child right now. So
also like her mental state. She's probably at the point where she's like,
not yet, but here's the
probably
thing.
Doesn't want to do it. Like she
never did any of the home bookkeeping for the house, writing checks, paying bills, none of it. And when her husband passed away several years back, Chris got roped into going through everything, figuring out how everything was working. Prepared for, hey, how's it going?
Hello.
And so, Chris is like the other 2 days ago, we were talking and she goes, I wish my mom had been like your mom. I just so wish my mom would have been like your mom. My mom would went over all the budgeting with my dad. He let her do it because she was a bookkeeper when she was in her late teens and early 20s during World War II for Lockheed.
Oh, okay.
The aircraft manufacturer plant in Burbank.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom did all of the bookkeeping and stuff, knew everything. Chris's mom knew nothing. And there's still things they're finding out about. She just found out that she's been throwing away these letters that were addressed to her brother that passed away. There's like $100 and some odd $1,000 that she just needs to claim.
And she's throwing the letters away?
She's not even opening because it's addressed. It's addressed to the one brother, the one son, one of her sons. And she's just, it's addressed to James, and she just throws it away. because it's junk mail as far as she was
It
concerned.
sounds like your wife just needs to take control of that situation. I'd be
That's
like,
what she-
no, this is what we're doing, and this is how we're doing it. And
Well, once she has everything brought together, and they were supposed to have a meeting with a trust lawyer to put everything into a trust to protect it. And once that's done, then she says, "All right, here's your financial situation. You've just about burned through all your money and everything." But she's waiting until she gets everything before she drops the hammer and say, "This is what you've done by not, by just pushing things off." But that's the thing is, if you're sitting, if you have parents that you're going to be taking care of, you got to plan on that too. Now Chris's mom has been up here a couple times here to Idaho. She absolutely refuses to come up here because the Catholic Church is 12 miles to the south of us in Blackfoot, and she doesn't want to drive down there in the winter.
Yeah.
Well, right now it's getting to the point where she can't drive anyways. She has to have someone else take her around.
Prepper 101 says trust lawyer. Is that possible?
Yes. Chris's mom wants to get everything set up in a trust so she doesn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And they've had appointments and stuff, and she got hurt and they had to cancel one appointment. And yeah. So
I can't imagine what kind of that would stress me out. I would be so stressed out.
Oh,
and
she is.
Your wife is still working. Like I would be stressed to the max with that.
And so you mean trust the lawyer? Trust lawyers are a different breed of lawyer. They set up trusts, S corps, retirement accounts, funds, and stuff like that. These are the ones that are like a cross between an accountant and a lawyer.
Yeah.
And so you find a good one, you never let that one go. Have a word of mouth. You take all family members. This is the one to go to.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so soon as she does gets that figured out, then Chris will be coming up here. But once her mom is well enough where she doesn't have to stay down there with her, she'll be moving back home, and she may or may not wait till the end of the month and come up here for another 2 weeks before snow comes.
Oh wow.
And because she, like I said, she picks up the stuff on Friday after work. She packs it all up Saturday morning. She's up here Saturday evening by 5 o'clock, and we get her everything moved in. The grandkids all come up and cuddle around her.
She don't watch your YouTube channel, does she?
Huh?
Does her mom watch your YouTube channel? Okay, well, that's good.
No. Oh.
But I was just saying, like,
oh no,
I wish she would just settle everything.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know. It's probably really hard. Like, if you don't get along with her, you probably don't want her living with you. But I'd be like, hey, like you're living with us. This is how you're not a burden. This is easier on everybody. You're living with us. This is how it's gonna go. Like I can't imagine doing that.
Here's the fun part. There's a house for sale in town, 2-story, well, 3-story, 2.5 story. It's part of it split, but it's got a full basement with a second kitchen, second master bedroom, and it would be. Chris and I talked about it. If her mom was paying for it, we would sell the place we have in Martinez, buy that one, put the rest in the bank, put her mom in the basement, put our 2 boys in upstairs, and it's just a block and a half down the street. So the grandkids would go walking down, because they walk 4 blocks the other way to go see their friends anyways. So they would walk down the street to go see Nana.
That would be amazing. And then your entire family would be so close. Like, it would be like really great for everybody.
But she does not want to come to Idaho because it's too cold.
Well, I mean, sometimes, to be honest, you just don't have a choice in the matter. Like,
Yeah.
if you want somebody to help you and you want somebody to take care of you, you have to go where the help is. You can't
Exactly.
just, and I know it sucks. I mean, if she's lived there for years and you don't want to, it's your home. And I get that, but you have to go where people can help you.
Well, here's the scary part about that house. The front door, it has a wraparound porch, a big old-fashioned wraparound porch. It was built in late 1840s, early 1850s. So it looks like Victorian style built on it. The front steps are 8 feet wide of steps. Then it has the big stonework and everything on the side with the handrails and stuff. That's front porch. And the front porch comes up to here. The steps come up to here. And in between it is the Hayward Fault. The Hayward Fault that is 25 years past due having a major eruption. And it moves. It moves. They've seen it moving.
Oh wow!
It moves a little bit. It's since Chris and I got married, it's moved like 3 inches in the last 36 years.
Wow!
But anyways, so that's something else to plan for, and we've been planning for it. We were even going to get an auxiliary living unit put out here and hooked up, temporarily using the state law to be able to bring it in. They set it up like a mobile home, put anchors on it, and as soon as the person passes away, and it goes away. But she didn't want that either. Hang on, let's see what else we got here. Oh, other livestock besides chickens, cows, goats. We thought about cows. We thought about goats for here. Goats to help keep the weeds and stuff down in the across the street in the field out there. But if I've been rototilling it. I've been adding wood chips. I got like 1, 2, 3, 4. We're on the 5th load of wood chips being dumped in that field that I'm spreading around and rototilling it in. Tammy Harder's here. Yeah, sort of like a tiny house. But it's 1 bedroom, kitchen, bath, living room, and it's for a senior citizen to live in, so the family can take care of them.
Yeah.
So other livestock, we've considered that. Unless I win the lottery, we ain't getting horses.
We thought a cow, but
yeah, it's So we will get chickens. We will probably try turkeys again. My daughter tried turkeys. We'll try some turkeys here. Goats, sheep, possibly. Sheep's graze, goats forage. So if there's tall weeds and stuff, the goats will eat that and leave the grass alone. Yeah. Oh, there's a tree over there. We'll go strip the bark off the tree and leave the grass alone. That's the way goats are. But so other type of livestock to consider that you may want to do, plan for it at the beginning. You may push it back. You may push back getting the other livestock as it takes time to get everything done that you want to get done on investing in your homestead. Homestead is a way of life. It's not we got it. We're on vacation now. No, you're working. You are working. Working with, I got 2 of the grandsons have been staying over. The 2 youngest ones have been staying over here with me, except when Eli, who has the autism, is off with his workers, his BI and PT worker. Then they run over and play over there, but they spend the nights here and stuff. And they've been using my weight bench. They've been using my Gazelle. They've been using my exercise equipment. They've now found where I'd stashed my mom's 2.5 pound weight wrist sand things and the 5 pound ankle ones and stuff. And they're wearing them around the house and out and going outside playing in them, trying to get muscles. Danny, the second to youngest, is a mini me. He's number three in of the kids. I was number 3 of the kids. He is as skinny as a rail like I was when I was that age. Pants did not stay up on me very well. I had to pull pants and cinch the belt super tight to keep it from falling off my hips. That's him. He was a toe-headed kid until this year, and his hair is starting to darken.
Wow.
Same thing I was. So he's my mini me. And I keep telling him, hey, when I was your age, I was the same way. I wish someone had told me to exercise more and build muscle.
Oh, King Poobo's here.
Hey, when people ask me what I'm going to do on my day off, I just say work. Yep. Oh, I'm retired. What are you doing? Working. But yeah, there's always a project.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter how many people you ask about it and figure out, Sandy's here, about doing things and doing it, when you actually go to do it, because you're in a different area and stuff, it's going to be crap. I should have done it a little bit different. And, but that is like right now for getting set up for when we have to be on using the irrigation ditch to water the lawn and the garden. All the pipe, I tried it the first year we were here, running 2-inch pipe out and a pump and everything else. It was a pain. It didn't quite work right. But I put most of it together with rubber Calder couplers. So I slide the pipe in, tighten down the hose clamp, slide the pipe in, tighten down the hose clamp. So I'm recycling all that I had from 4 years ago, 5 years ago, recycling it and doing it again. And I bought some more. I bought very few gluable couplers for the PVC pipe. I'm buying the Calder couplers that I can just unscrew and change things around to make it easier to do. So much better to make, spend a little bit more money so you can change things without wasting money.
Yeah.
And that's some of the things you got to do. It's like, my wife has realized sometimes it's all right. It's better just to spend a little more money and not have to be put up with the shortchanged version of cheap version of doing something. And so it's one of those things that just she was looking for poop news. So there's different things, and I'm learning everything in the garden. I cannot plant onions on the north side of the house or shop. It's too cold. On the south side, the IBC totes, same IBC tote, moved from one location to the other. The onions did great over the winter. The garlic, same thing. If the planter's near the house, like I did last year, I had a boatload of garlic survive the winter. Carrots, didn't have quite the luck on carrots, but I wound up with the carrots did survive, getting probably 40,000 carrot seeds from it. Because I let it just go to seed, so I just collected all this carrot seeds to start doing that. There is a lot of things, when it comes to the garden on a homestead, food that you're raising for yourself, food that you're raising for the livestock, whether it's chickens, cows, or goats or sheep. I guarantee you, cows and goats love squash. They love all varieties of squash. They will eat squash every chance you give them. We learned that years ago when we had milk cows. They'd break out and they got into the patty pans, devastated the patty pans. Then they moved on to the yellow zucchinis, and they moved on to the green zucchinis, and we stopped them before they got to the pumpkins. But yeah, there's a lot of things to consider, and when you're just making the decision to do a homestead, you have to take notes and start planning.
We have a famous visitor. Come here, Schmutz. Come here. Oh, yeah. Oh, you can't even see him, can you?
I can see part of him.
Fred, say hi.
Hi, Fred.
Can you say hi?
So are those noise canceling headphones, or are they?
Yes, wear them now. Yeah. Don't you dare. We're not in here to do that. I don't know where your dad is, but you're going to be in trouble, mister.
Oh, just a heads up for anybody that does have young autism children. When they hit puberty and they're on medications, expect problems. When Eli hit puberty,
Stop.
They had to take him off certain medications because they weren't working. They were having the opposite effect. And the doctor found out, goes, oh, yeah, he's hitting puberty. Okay, yeah. And they're having to put him on other medications and stuff to keep him from,
There's Dad.
Going off.
You better go. Love you. Oh, Lord.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, for your investing in your homestead, don't just jump into it. Do a little planning. I learned that. Do a little planning. Figure out what figure out what you're going to need to do first. Figure out how much money, how much income you can put towards the projects.
Yeah.
And then have a separate little amount account in savings or whatever for when that great deal pops up that was a lot less than what you budgeted for, but you need the money now, you have it. But yeah, would I change? Would I not do buy a 5-acre homestead property again? I would buy it again. I would go buy a 10-acre if I could. If it had been a 10-acre in town, which would have been a whole full city block, I would have gotten that. Because then
I still have dreams of buying property. I really want some property in West Virginia so badly. So I don't know. I don't know if that is in the future for us or not, but we're making some significant changes.
Yeah.
Hopefully in the spring, we will be making some dramatic changes. So I don't know. We'll see. But I really would like to have some property down south or in Southern Ohio or in West Virginia. I love West Virginia.
I love West Virginia too. My wife did not want to go back there. I have some friends in Upshur County and in Weston and Buchanan and a lot of those areas. I mean, Weston got flooded this year. Never got flooded before. Buchanan, on the northeast side, which is downhill, the trailer park there got flooded out.
Yikes.
The Wesley, I can't pronounce it. The Methodist College in Buchanan was fine. Places I was looking at where I was friends were higher ground than even the college, the university there. So they were okay, but it was the northeast low end that got flooded down there. But yeah, this year is a good year to look to see what areas flooded and stuff for certain areas.
That is super scary because of the things that happened in North Carolina and that kind of thing. Like that is super scary. I would like to live. I don't want to live in town. Obviously, I want to live on the mountain. I want to live in and my cousin has a cabin on the mountainside. I'm like, that would be amazing. I would love to have that. Just like a nice little getaway. To
the flip thing about that is Utah, some areas where they've never had a reported fire, wildfire, burnt. Hillside's gone. North of me here, or north of Idaho Falls, northeast, ice. The canyon up there went, and they had zero containment on it for over a week. because it was staying to the canyons. All the horses, they got all the horses and cattle out. They evacuated a lot of the area. They thought it was going to travel faster than it did, but once it traveled fast, and then it locked itself in and started reburning all the timber and stuff that, just so it's burned.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's horrible.
It was burning back and forth. And to me, this year was one of the things is, okay, maybe I'm glad I don't have a lot of timber. I just lost their name. They built the the barndinium there in Tennessee. Was it Tennessee?
Hedgehog.
Hedgehog. Yes. They're at least cleared away from their property, and they have the big tractor with the big discs and the stuff on it to take care of fire protection for them. And that's where equipment comes in hand, getting the proper equipment to be able to do stuff. Me, I'm lucky. On the west side of my property is a huge irrigation canal. I mean, it's like, it's like 20 feet across at least. And then it's the Idaho Supreme. Idaho Supreme has some farmland they lease out, and then there's another irrigation canal. So, here we're in town, but we're surrounded by agricultural all sides, and agricultural here is alfalfa, potatoes, and sugar beets. They don't do corn here. They don't do wheat here. The alfalfa and hay, when they cut it, is still somewhat green.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they cut it green, let it sit for several days to dry out in our 100-degree weather, and then they bale it up. So there's not going to be a fire moving across the hay fields here. Mm-mm. So that was a bonus thing that we when we got in town here. It's like, okay, there is an irrigation ditch here, an irrigation ditch across the street up here. 2 streets over is another irrigation ditch. These ditches are about 3 foot wide. And so there's a bunch of irrigation ditches. I think there's 17 of them going through town.
Oh, wow.
Little different ones going through all the different things and stuff. And so, yeah, there's a fire here. There are a lot of people have 2-inch pumps in the ditch, fire it up, and they're hosing everything down if there was to be a fire.
Wow.
But yeah, it's that's one of the things. Fire is a major concern on a homestead because you're away from the city.
Yeah, that's something I don't even think about here because we don't have that issue. We are. Yeah. I think we would be more apt to a flood than we would a fire.
Yeah.
However, this area doesn't flood very much either, so it's just. It is what it is.
Mark's the same way with his place there on the Maryland. I keep forgetting. I think his place is across the border into Pennsylvania, but they live in Maryland. So he's on a hillside. He says everything flows downhill from him into the valley and stuff. Yeah. And he goes, but what? Even here, even where he's at, he goes down 10 feet. He's hit water. He can't put a basement in.
Yeah. Wow.
So so he's got water. He's got water.
Yeah.
But he's been taking out a lot of the pine trees that have grown up that weren't there 20 years ago when the people owned it before and just let the trees go. And so he's been taking those out and reclaiming the land and stuff. So that's one of the things you got to look at is are you getting a property that has been, what's the word I'm looking for? Not abused, but neglected. It's been neglected for years and having to redo it. Do you remember Josh, Stony Ridge farmer?
Mm-hmm.
Back there? His property was tobacco property, and then tobacco burnt out the soil. And the cedar trees and stuff moved in. and he's been removing the trees and chipping them and turning them into the soil. And now he's raising cattle. And so he's doing, his place is getting is better and better and better every year. But it takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of work. So what does that say? Yeah. That's why here in our town, nobody has a real basement. We got a basement across the street that was put in afterward, and I had to put a sump pump in there to keep, I dig a hole through the basement floor, dug down until I hit the gravel, put a sump pump in there to keep that from getting flooded.
Yeah,
over there.
We probably should have a sump pump, but we don't. But my mom does.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of necessary in some basements in this area, is to have a sump pump. My brother has 2 of them in his basement. So
yeah, now across the highway and a quarter mile up the road, there's a house put in a huge basement because they're about 20 feet higher than the highway, and they got low land all around them, so they don't have to worry about intrusion because basically they're sitting on a little knob. And so they put in a big basement, and their well is down in the lower part of the going down into the little ditch thing there. Mm-hmm. 30 feet lower than the roadway. So they're 50 feet above where the well is, so they got to pump up from there, but that's no big deal. But yeah, there's you got to look in all aspects of what property you want to get and where.
Yep.
My wife wanted to come here because my daughter and her husband were going to stay here near the college they went to. She's wishing now we've gone to the other side of Idaho, like Adams County, and bought over there, because I found some great properties there. 10 acres for $30,000 with a well and nothing on it, but with a well already. And in one of the photos, you can see the power lines.
Oh my gosh,
there were several of those. And there were some trees on the periphery, but it's mostly open area.
Why is it so cheap though?
Because those same lots now are selling for $120,000.
Okay, that explains.
Yeah. So from 2000 in the last 10 years, they've gone up from $30,000 to $120,000 for the same size lot and stuff. It's just because that was at the time thing. We paid $132,000 for the property, 5 acres across the street. 5 acres. And so 1 acre here, we paid 2.5 times that just for this acre here. But this is a nice house too. This is a 4-bedroom house.
Like have to understand too with zoning. Like a lot of you have to do some research before you move into a place, because you can't just move into a place and I want to build this and I want to build that, and a lot of places just won't let you. They have zoning. And I know like in this area you can't do that. Like you can't just put like a shed on a piece of property or a trailer or something like that. But like in a few counties a few counties over, you can do that. They don't have any zoning at all. There's nothing there. So they don't mind that you do that. But you have to really watch. But I would totally put like one of those 2-story sheds from Home Depot on a piece of property, and that would be my home. I would totally do that in a heartbeat.
One of those tough sheds, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, y'all. I'm sorry for this, but I'm gonna have to get down.
We need to wrap it up too.
It's about at 8 o'clock.
Yeah. So. When are you going to start doing lives on a schedule or not, or just?
I don't know yet. It all depends on my schedule and my son. When I can put him to bed.
All right, hang on for a couple minutes. I'm going to wrap it up here, and I want to talk to you offline here. So coming up here for me tomorrow on Survival Saturday is after a planetoid is spotted heading towards Earth, what are your plans? Monday on back here on Camppatton, we're going to be talking with Tammy and Mark about steam canning. Tuesday back on Gray Man Prepping, no powder, air, tension, compression, kinetic. So you're not using pew-pews, you're using everything else. Thursday night's the Midnight Ride. Next Friday here, should I collect rainwater and how to do it? All right, folks, take care, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow over on Gray Man Prepping. Wrong button, wrong button, wrong button, wrong button. Wrong button. Almost did the wrong thing there.